Hey guys, Brian New here. I'm with Bass Resource, and I'm going to tell you my 5 go-to June baits that I have tied on. It can definitely vary, but I'm not going anywhere in the country without these 5 baits tied on in the month of June. And you know, June, it's the first part of summer, so we've got to talk about topwater. There's a lot of schooling fish. There's a lot of fish up shallow. You know, what I'm reaching for first when I'm thinking schooling fish and up shallow top water is going to be a walking bait. This is a new bait from Spro. It's been out for about a year now on the market, and it's called a walking haint. It's you know, it's that you know, there's different style walking baits. You got your pencil popper style, you got your super spook style, you got the Sammy style, but they've all got different things. So this is a Sammy style, but it's got that one knocker. That one knocker is really awesome. This is the first bait on the market that is that style of walking bait with a one knocker. The walking haint is an awesome go-to for me. I'm throwing that on a 30-pound Sunline AMZ braid. It's a 7-foot medium action arc Invoker Tour rod, 7 or 8-to-1 arc gravity reel. Make long casts, take up a lot of water. I really like that braid because it's more responsive. I can cast farther and I can get a better hookup on those long casts. Bait number 1, June, walking haint from Spro. Bait number 2, it's another Spro bait. It's my baby, it's the Sashimi Swimmer. It's kind of that mix between topwater and swim bait. It's fast, great for schooling fish, great for covering water down the bank. Designed specifically for blueback herring, but it's great in a lot of other situations. You know, you can use it as a weight bait really fast. You can get it down in the water column a little bit when you weight it, like I have here. 16-pound Sunline FC Sniper, 7 or 8-to-1 gravity G7 reel, 7-foot 2-inch regular action medium power arc Invoker Tour rod. Bait number 3, this is maybe a new one for you. It's somewhat new to me, but it's a poop bait, a doo-doo bait. What's it look like? It looks like a turd. Well, it's new. It's been out for a handful of years in Japan, several years in Japan, and we all know that the Japanese are so far ahead of us over here in America when it comes to techniques and baits. And man, this is a really cool one. It's a really weird one. And you know, it actually don't stink, but it looks like it would. It's a poop bait. So what is a poop bait? To me, it's a mix between a Senko style bait and a Ned rig style bait. It's kind of got that fall of a Senko, but it's got that profile of a Ned rig. I use this bait a lot like a jig. But you know, I'll throw it out and I'll hop it, and it doesn't fall down like a jig. It kind of glides a little bit. You know, this is the Spro Crawl Nugget. Shinichi Fukai designed this bait, Japanese angler, so obviously he knows a lot more about it than I do. But this is a Gamakatsu hook that was actually designed for this, this type bait, this technique. It's called the Hydro Roller hook, and it's an O'Shaughnessy style hook, but it's got this built-in swivel, you know, because this bait will kind of roll a little bit as you're hopping it, as it's falling. So not only does it roll and that swivel assist, you know, with keeping the line twist away, it also has a little bit extra weight to kind of, you can see this bait's weighted heavily towards the tail, but that little bit extra weight kind of keeps the nose down as well, or the head, whatever you want to call it. I'm throwing that on 20-pound Sunline shooter fluorocarbon. I like to reach for shooter anytime it's a hard hook set bait, you know, jig, flipping, that type of deal. That's my setup. I'm going to throw this on the same rod that I was throwing the sashimi on. It's a 7.2 medium action regular power rod, 7 or 8-to-1 gravity reel. Throw the turd, throw the poop. Spro Crawl Nugget. it's a cool one. Like it's fun. No matter what, it's fun. And before I get there, let's go to something else fun. Is a frog. We all love topwater. We all love frog fishing. It's one of the most exciting baits there is to throw is a frog. And you know, the bronze-eye, we've all loved the bronze-eye for, I don't know, 20 plus years it seems like. It's the best walking, the #1 frog on the market. But in the last couple years, Spro has come out with the flapping frog, and it's got that same bronze-eye profile, but it's an elastomer material, so it's really stretchy. It's extremely soft. I mean, with nothing, you know, it's going to collapse and give you all the bite in the world to hook those fish well. I mean, if a fish looks at this, he's almost hooked. But look at those legs. A lot different than what we're used to with the bronze-eye. You know, you've got those flapping legs. You know, a toad style bait and a frog style bait have kind of been in somewhat the same category, but they're different. You know, one you walk, one you reel. Well, the one you reel sinks when you stop. The flapping frog floats. And those legs, they kick, they gurgle, they make an awesome noise. You can skip it, you can throw it under laydowns or overhangs. The Spro flapping frog, it's one of my favorites. It's a sleeper. Not a lot of people throw it, not a lot of people talk about it, but this is a bait that I'm not going fishing without in June. Now let's talk a little less fun. You know, we like catching fish on big baits, or big rods, heavy line, top waters, cool stuff. But sometimes it doesn't work, and we still like catching fish. Sometimes you gotta back up, and you gotta bust out the old shaky head. You know, this is it's a Greenfish Tackle cleanup shaky head. It's got a good hook. The line ties in the right position. It's simple. It's, you know, that ball head style jig head. And, you know, we got a straight tail worm. You know, there's a lot of great ones on the market. Once again, we all know how far advanced the Japanese are with pretty much every tackle. And the Nori's Lattery worm, you know, it's a 5 1/4 inch worm. And it's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. You almost have to have it in hand to understand, but it's a little bit different texture. It's a straight tail worm, but it kind of tapers, and then it comes out slightly. So that worm, it's going to stand up well, but where it tapers and it gets more flexible, and then it comes out a little bit, that slight bulbage tail is going to give it a little bit more action. It's going to take a lot less movement to give it the action that you want. Very simple, very effective. Don't go fishing ever without a shaky head, but especially in June. You know, I'm reaching for the Kinda Shaky Brandon Cobb series. Kinda Shaky, I'm going to throw the shaky on it. You know, it's a 7 foot 1 inch extra fast action medium power rod. I'm throwing that on an Arc gravity spinning reel, 18-pound Sunline AMZ braid. I like the orange. It's really, you know, I can see it. You can take those light bites. You know, I can see if it's, you know, my line's moving. And then I use anywhere from a 6 to a 12-pound Sunline FC Sniper leader. It's pretty simple. I can use that from cruising fish on the bank to, you know, a brush pile in 20 foot. Or, you know, if you're a scoper, you can even use it for scoping, you know, out in the middle of the ocean. Shaky head, flapping frog, sashimi swimmer, walking haint, and even the poop. That's what I'm reaching for. June, fun time. It's getting warm, catching fish, and yeah, you know that now, so it's time for me to go catch a bass.